Welcome to StudyAssistant.org audio tutorial. This tutorial is entitled, Functions and Responsibilities of Management. Here is an overview of this lesson. 1. 5 functions of management. 2. 10 roles of a manager. And 3. Responsibilities of a manager. Introduction. The organizational charts introduced you to the tasks and jobs of individuals within the organization. You saw how the line of command is depicted diagrammatically as well. Thus you saw that there were some positions in an organization that involved the directing and controlling of a group or one or more people for the simple purpose of accomplishing a goal. This position is the management position, where such person or people perform acts of management, discrete activities of management that have been identified as planning, organizing, coordinating, commanding, and controlling. These tasks were mentioned by Henri Fayol in his definition of the term management, which I shall quote. To manage is to forecast and plan, to organize, to command, to coordinate, and to control. To foresee and provide means examining the future and drawing up the plan of action. To organize means building up the dual structure, material and human, of the undertaking. To command means binding together, unifying and harmonizing all activity and efforts. To control means seeing that everything occurs in conformity with established rule and expressed demand. You should note that some authors have included delegating and directing among these as functions of management. These management activities are the activities that increase as you move up the organizational ladder. Thus those higher in the organization are required to have excellent management skills. The 5 functions of management. Planning. The activity of planning is more a mental thing. Planning involves ability to envision situation and consequences of actions, proposal made for the company. Planning could cover a period from an hour to the next decade. It is thus divided according to short-range planning, generally up to a year, mid-range planning 1 to 5 years, and long-range planning beyond 5 years. Many managers think that the activity of planning could be frustrating because we don't always know exactly what will happen tomorrow or if a certain thing will occur. Also, a manager is at risk when he makes inaccurate predictions in business. However, when planning is done properly, it can minimize the risk of doing business. Organizing. The activity of organizing begins in an organization from the time tasks were assigned. This organizing continues straight to the breaking up of these tasks into manageable activities. Organizing is important for managers as it helps them stay committed to the goals and objectives of the organization and distribute the available resources in a more efficient manner. Commanding. Commanding under a business environment goes hand in hand with the activity of delegating. It can become obvious now that commanding demands leadership skills because it is at the core of human relations. Commanding is necessary to help others attain the goals of the organization. Thus there are 3 essential elements in commanding: leading, motivating, and team building. You will learn more about these elements later. Coordinating. The activity of coordinating resources, money, equipment, personnel, and time, is another challenging function for a manager. But a manager must find ways to do more for less in order that their company remains competitive. Thus coordinating involves bringing together the various functions of an organization: production, marketing, finance, and personnel. Also, the activity of coordinating is made easier when the activities of planning, organizing, and directing are done well. Note the functional areas of a business were discussed in Lesson 2 of this module. Controlling, when the manager monitors the progress of its workers and its groups within the company according to how much goals and objectives were achieved, the manager is performing the activity of controlling. Controlling is the opposite of planning. It is about looking back or reviewing the periods past and seeking feedback. This activity helps the manager maintain the company's goals, seek new ways to improve and increase productivity, and help guide decision-making. It also helps the company recognize those who helped the company in its achievements. These functions determine the different roles for the manager. Henry Mintzberg, a renowned academic of management, observed 10 roles of a manager. The roles are divided into 3 conceptual categories: informational, managing by information; interpersonal, managing through people; and decisional, managing through action. Please note that in the real world these roles are not independent, they come together to ensure the success of a business. Responsibilities of management. Owners and shareholders. The management of most companies is entrusted with the primary responsibilities to maximize the value of the shareholders' investment. Such is the ownership of publicly held companies where no single shareholder has a large enough stake in the firm. Shareholder must monitor the activities of the manager for the main purpose of avoiding an agency problem. An agency problem occurs when the managers act in their own interest and maximize their own wealth at the expense of the shareholders. Employees management is responsible for providing adequate working conditions and fair wages and salaries, training, maintaining good communication and human relations, necessary to maintain a reasonably open and harmonious relationship between managers and employees, and between superiors and subordinates. This could avoid petty grievances, discontent and frustration among workers, which only serves to interrupt production and limit growth for a company. Society management must practice social responsibility to society. This is obvious when they adopt policies and practices that show respect to the weaker and vulnerable people in society, protect the environment, help control pollution, and help provide relief to victims of natural calamities, etc. Consumers. Another major concern for management is consumers. This is necessary especially in a competitive market. Even though consumers' interests are protected partially by the law and pressure groups, they can still be victims of unfair trade practices and unethical conduct of businesses. A company has a lot more to gain when management seeks to satisfy consumer interests and needs, such as by ensuring good offered out of the appropriate standard and quality, and at a reasonable price. Also, they should avoid hoarding, creating false or misleading advertisement, creating artificial scarcity. Government management act responsibility to government when they conduct business affairs in a lawful manner. That means they pay taxes on time and do not become involved in corrupting public officials. As we have seen, it is important for management to consider whether their policies and actions are likely to promote the public good, advance the basic values of society, and promote stability, strength and harmony. Social responsible companies, because of their responsible policies and practices, are viewed in a positive light by the general public, and in the long-term benefit out of this mutual arrangement that becomes evident in the large number of loyal customers.
This concludes our lesson on the functions and responsibilities of management. You can test your knowledge of this lesson by clicking on the link below.